All right, so for bar graphs, we are comparing part to whole. Circle graphs, sorry. Bar graphs, we were comparing categories, but for circles, we want to compare the part to the whole. The number of boys over total, 108. The number of people who like band to the total.
I don't have my pages.
Then just look towards the back for graphs. It's in the back. There's very little left in the back. All right, so circle graphs are part to whole. Okay, each little part is a percentage. Those little parts are called sectors, if you care. And then they add up to 100%. Okay, they add to 100%. All right. So here we have some data. Does this mean that 16 people like sports or 16%? People, okay? To find the percent, you need the total, okay? This is a day you definitely want your calculator. So if you don't have them, take them out. If you're at home, please make sure that you have your blue notes and you're following along and taking these notes with us, okay? So go ahead and quickly find the total here. Did you find it, Simon? What unit are you in?
Did I just get a free answer? But you did. And she said,
Oh, what's that site called?
it's not a site.
What is it called?
It's a background.
Put a page in. It's 108.
I got 50.
Okay. All right, so the total is 50, okay? And we said that percent is always out of 100, okay? So I don't have to do 6 proportions. How do I get from 50 to 100?
You add 50 or multiply by
Times 2, okay? So every single time, I can just multiply this by 2 to get the percent. Or you can set up 6 proportions. I don't think you want to do that. So then sports would be 32%. Student council would be 16%. Debate is 8. Music is 18. And none is 26. Okay? So the way we got that is we multiplied by 2. We multiplied by 2 because 50 to 100 is times 2. Okay? What if this had been 500? What would I do to get to 100? We would divide all of these by 5. If this was 100, what would I do? Nothing. You would just leave it. Okay? So always look to your total to get to percent and then use that for all of them. Okay? All right, put a little center in your circle and draw a line. Draw a radius. Okay? Now, what's the biggest number we have?
100.
Percent.
32.
32, okay? Now you want to think of fourths, okay? 32 is more than 25, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but just draw. We're just going to write sports. Okay? What's the next biggest number?
26.
Okay, 26. So a quarter would be straight across, but it's just a tiny bit more. Tiny bit more. This is none.
Is that like a third?
It's not quite a third. Almost. But yeah, almost a third. Good. Okay, then the next biggest is music. And the next biggest is student council. And then this tiny one is debate. Your drawing does not have to be perfect. You'll never have to draw your own. Sorry, I just haven't seen my phone in a while. I was like, do I still have my phone in here? All right. So explain how each portion corresponds to the percents. If it is a bigger percent, what do you know? What do you know about the size of this? If it's a big number, what part of the circle is it?
Bigger part of the circle.
It's a bigger part of the circle. Okay, if it's a small percent, it's a small part of the circle. All right. Up top, I'm going to remind you of the percent formula. Okay, when we did it, we did percent bars. Okay, percent was always on bottom. What number was also always with your percent bars? 100 every time. Okay, and then there would be a number here, let's say 20.
That is total.
Okay, that's the total. So both of these numbers are the total. 20 people and 100%. Those are both the totals. Okay, the other number is going to be our part. So if I said 7 people, okay, what percent? Okay. So if you don't like drawing the percent bar, just draw your proportion. Just remember that 100 always goes on the bottom, percent always goes on the bottom, and then you use your other numbers, okay?
I feel like it's easier to do the proportion.
Okay, that's fine. So part over whole, okay? Just remember part is first, whole is second. Part, whole.
You solve it.
You don't have to solve it. I just want to remind you this is how we set it up, okay? So now we're going to look at actually solving some problems. Student council at North Middle School had an election for the student council president. Here's the data. Who won the election?
Squares.
How do you know that Suarez did it?
No. It's squares.
Suarez. How do you know that he won?
He has the biggest part of the circle.
He has the biggest. Does that mean 40 people voted for him?
No, 40% of all the people.
Okay. What if I didn't know what percent was here? How could I find out that missing percent? What do we know this adds up to? 100. So how would you find the missing number if you didn't know it?
You would add up all the others and then subtract 500.
Yeah, very good. Okay. And you're going to have to do that on the assignment later. So percent adds up to 100. So if you're missing one, you just add the ones you know and subtract from 100. Okay? All right, it says 280 students voted for Morris. Is that the part or is that the total?
Oh, that's total? 40.
No, that's
a
how
part.
many people voted for him.
Okay, that's how many voted for Morris. Is Morris the whole circle or is he a part of the circle?
A part of the circle.
So this is the part. You have to ask yourself this every time. Okay? It says how many students participated. So I'm going to do percents on the bottom. 100 every single time. I know that 280 is the what? It's the part because that's the people who picked Morris. Okay? The question says how many students participated. So that's X. Somebody writing these notes?
What's the bottom?
Okay. What's the percent?
40.
How'd you get 40?
Because it says it.
But who are we looking for?
The people who voted for Morris.
Okay, how many people
35.
picked Morris?
35.
35. Okay. All right. What is going to work every single time? Cross multiply. If you are good at simplifying, simplify your heart because that is easier to me. If you're like, I don't get it, just cross multiply. Okay, we're going to all get the same answer. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. Either cross multiply or simplify.
You just divide by 35.
Yep, once you multiply, you divide by 35. That is correct. So that means 800 people were in this school to vote for this president, student council president. Okay. So again, this is not difficult. It's what we've been doing. We're just going back and using circle graphs now instead of a word problem. Okay. All right. It says 600 students participated in the election. 600 is the what?
Cool.
How do you know it's the total?
Because it said the
600 students.
Yeah, it tells you 600 students. It doesn't say who they picked. The question says, how many votes did Suarez win? Okay, Suarez is what percent?
40.
40%. Always goes with what? 100. And then the 600 is the what?
It is the total.
Total. So it goes over what number?
100.
100. And now on this one, is there a super easy shortcut?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
You just divide 600 by.
Okay, so this one is divide by 6. Okay, on the other side, am I going the same direction or the opposite? Opposite, so that means I am.
Dividing. No, it's
'Kay.
240.
And now you could have done your error like this and said times 6. That's totally fine. But our answer is 240. Again, if you don't want to do that, cross, multiply, and divide. But for me, I could do that in my head. I didn't need a calculator to do that. Okay? But if you are more comfortable with this, do it every time. Cross, multiply, and divide works every time. That just was super quick and easy. Okay? Everybody okay?
Yeah.
All right. Next page. We're moving right along. Now we have 6th graders who are at a fitness challenge in their PE class, and here is the sports that they preferred the most. Okay? There are 250 6th graders. Is that the total or is that the part?
Total.
Total. Okay, that's how many people there were. I want to know how many participated in each sport. Okay? So we're going to do lifting weights. Every single time you start with this. Every single time. Okay? Percent goes down here on the bottom. All right, lifting weights. What percent? 8. Percents go where? On the bottom. 250 is the what?
Total.
Total. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you a second. Either cross multiply, simplify, or
It's 20. I think I did that in my head.
I got 20.
That's 20.
good. All right, the answer was 20. Okay. The next one is talking about running. Running is 30%. I know that percent goes on the bottom. I know 100 goes on the bottom. And I know there's 250 students.
No shortcut. Cross multiply?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cross multiply.
I mean, you could simplify and make a shortcut.
Oh.
If you simplify, there's a shortcut. But if you want to cross multiply every time, you just go for that. Like, it's not wrong if you just cross multiply and divide. But my goal is I don't want to pick up a calculator, so I'd rather try to make it easy. And you get 75. Again, algebra works every time. All right, do swimming for me, and don't say the answer out loud. Give everybody a chance. You're going to put it in the chat, and we haven't done this in a while. We're going to waterfall. If you're not in the meet, don't worry about it. You don't have to join, but we're going to...
Wait,
What?
I'm on the swimming question,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's going to be a decimal.
I got okay.
Your swimming is a decimal. That is okay. Swimming has a nice shortcut if you are into shortcuts. All right, so have your answer in the chat. We're going to push enter to waterfall in 10 seconds.
On the stairs.
3, 2, 1, enter waterfall. Good, Aiden. Okay, Brandon, you rounded yours. That's fine. Grace, good. Jamie, good. Yes.
So for the last question for B, it says that if it's greater than, or it wouldn't be greater than if it's the same, right?
Is that
Can
greater
you
than?
just add all the percents up?
All right, so hopefully you got 12.5. If you did not, here's the answer. If you rounded it to 13, always check because sometimes they do want you to round to the nearest whole number. And obviously you can't have half a student, so that would be silly. Okay? All right, next, Joseph says the number of students who choose swimming, walking, and lifting weights is greater than running. Okay? So swimming, what percent of people pick swimming?
5.
5. What percent of people picked walking?
17.
What percent said lifting weights? 8. What percent said running?
30.
30. So I want to know, is this greater than this?
No. It's equal to it, but not greater.
So Corbin says he added them and they're the same.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so is that greater than?
No, it's equal to.
No, he's incorrect. Because they are equal. Now, if it had the little line under it, then yes, that would be okay. But this one, it just wants to know if it's greater than. Okay? Greater than. Pretty easy?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to do just a couple more together. Simon, are you getting all these notes right now? Okay. So here we're looking at a budget. A budget is something that we will talk about after spring break because it is something very, very, very practical in the real world. Okay? Most adults have to have a budget. Here's the amount of money I make. I know I have to pay these bills. I want to make sure that I don't spend all my money on junk, on spending. Maybe I eat out too much. I have to budget my money. Okay? So
kind of like save.
yeah.
Spend it wisely.
Yeah, decide how much. I'm going to put 50% to this, 30% to this, 20%, and then whatever you have left over, put it in savings. Okay? So we're going to do true false. Jonah spends over 50% on housing and transportation. So here's housing. Here's transportation. If I was to add those together, does that look like it's over 50%?
Yeah. Actually, no, it'd be equal.
Yeah, if I moved this over right here, does it look like it's a little bit more than 50%?
Equal. Oh, wait. Yeah, it should be equal.
It actually is a little bit more because this is even, and if you look, transportation is a little bigger than food. So that one's true.
A little?
That's like, those questions are a little hard.
I will never give you a question that is like you'll have numbers. I didn't write this, but I would give you numbers because I think that is a little bit close.
How
Okay.
do you see the difference?
Oh, wait. I kind of see it, actually.
Maybe just kind of measure like from there to there, and then here
Oh.
is just a tiny. I mean, it's not a lot, but it is a little bit bigger.
Okay.
But I would never ask you something that questionable. I would always be a lot more specific and direct. Okay. Jonah spends less than 25% on transportation and utilities. So these two guys. Remember in the beginning we talked about 25% makes like a perfect L. Does that make a perfect L?
No.
No, it's quite a bit off. Okay, so this one is what? Because it says
False.
less than. Is that less than?
Oh, yeah. So,
Oh, it's true then.
That one's true because it is less. Okay? If it was up just a tiny bit more, it would be true. I mean, it would be false, but it's less than. Okay? Now, 1/3, and it says about, on transportation, utilities, and spending. So now I'm going to add all three of these together. Do the three of these look like they're about 1/3?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it says about.
It's true.
Yep, so that one's true. It is okay if all your answers are true, and it's also okay if all your answers are false. Okay?
I always thought that they had to be mixed.
Nope. All right, everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, last question. Jonah's income is $3,000 per month. Okay, that is the total amount of money they make.
Okay.
He wants to put $600 for savings. Use this information to determine how much he saves. Okay, so every single time I know percent and 100 go there. 3,000 is the total, so that's going on top. And then 600, does that go on top or bottom?
Top.
Why is it going on top?
It's not a percent.
It is not a percent. Everybody, I hope you heard that at home. If it goes on bottom, it has to be a percent, okay? If this is a percent, this has to be a percent, and it's not. So that's why X goes there, okay?
It's a shortcut.
Nice, easy shortcut. I can mark off some zeros. What's the shortcut?
Divide by 30.
Divide by 30. What do I do on the other side?
Divide by 30.
Why am I dividing and not timesing?
Because you don't know what the bottom number is.
They're going the same
Wait.
direction.
But Miss Davis, doesn't really
Yeah.
matter the direction.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like,
Because if you multiply, you're going to get,
I got
20%.
I mean, like, if you like go either way, like you can either multiply this. Or
As long as you do the same operation both ways, it doesn't matter.
I mean, like, you can either just multiply this and that, and divide this by that.
Uh-huh.
This
Yeah.
way.
All right, so hopefully you got 20% as your answer. Did y'all get 20%?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, I told y'all it's pretty quick, easy, painless. We're going to do really quick